It was a crime that rocked Raleigh, North Carolina in September of 1991. Jacquetta Thomas, a 26-year-old mother, was brutally murdered and left in the street with her pants and underwear pulled down to her ankles. The cause of death? Blunt force trauma to the head. The next day, investigators had their eye on a suspect, Greg Taylor. In 1993, Greg Taylor was convicted for the murder of Jacquetta Thomas, and Raleigh police considered the case closed. However, in 2010, with new evidence, witness statements, and the support of Jacquetta's family, Greg Taylor was exonerated.
Gregory F. Taylor has proved by clear and convincing evidence that Gregory F. Taylor is innocent, be quiet, of the charge of first-degree murder of Jacquetta Thomas on September 26, 1991.
With Greg's exoneration, Jacquetta Thomas's murder became the forgotten case from 19 years before. Joining me right now is Yolanda Thomas, Jacquetta Thomas's sister. So let's set the stage here. So police are out at the crime scene. They're investigating your sister's death. A guy by the name of Greg Taylor shows up because his truck apparently was stuck in the mud about 100 yards from your sister's body. Greg shows up to the scene. He tells police, hey, my truck is stuck here. I'm just here to get my truck. Police zero in on Greg Taylor. I've talked to you before about this case. You never really believed that Greg actually had anything to do with your sister's death. Why is that?
No, I never did, and I just always resort back to the time in which we were living. It was the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. Having grown up in that area and went to school with a lot of those individuals, I know the only way Greg could be in that part of town was if he was buying drugs, and that meant he had to be with an African American. Because any white person that was seen in that part of town, it meant he was probably undercover. So he had to be with someone else to get that.
That's a very interesting point. So we fast forward to 2010. Greg Taylor is exonerated. I actually talked to a Sharon Stiletto, who was part of the North Carolina Innocence Commission. She told me about DNA evidence that was used to clear Greg Taylor and Johnny Beck, the co-defendant, who was not charged in this case. Blood evidence that was introduced in the original trial way back in 1993 was not the final report from the SBI. So what can you tell me about that?
I wasn't there for the original trial, but because I was able to sit in on the exoneration piece, I was literally sick to my stomach when Dwayne Deaver got on the stand and started talking about this evidence. And he said it was just their protocol. It was what they did. And so he knew that what he sent over to the prosecution wasn't true. And that at closing argument, that was what the prosecution used to hammer in their case to the jury, that her blood was on this vehicle. However, that was not the final report. And the final report stated that it was some sort of animal's blood, not human blood at all.
So we know there's DNA out there. If that DNA can be used to catch your sister's killer, what would you say to your sister's killer?
You know, at this point, we will probably never know. We just want to know why. We just want to know a reason. We can't bring her back, but we want to know why. And that will give us some sort of healing, never closure, but at least some sort of healing just to know why.
And if you have any information about the murder, the 1991 murder of Jacquetta Thomas, you're urged to call North Carolina Wanted at 1-866-43-WANTED. Again, that's 1-866-43-WANTED. For the Law and Crime Network, I'm Vincent Hill. Thank you.